Hi. Good luck. Well, we were just finishing a conversation with Bob. He's leaving tomorrow to go on a cruise for what, 6 months? 6 or longer? Until December, you said. So good luck. And yeah, so welcome to your last class for a while. Today we're going to be focusing on the pronunciation of ST. Now, Thomas told me that German speakers normally have difficulties pronouncing the ST because maybe it doesn't exist. I don't exactly know why, but I'm here today to help. I hope. Okay. So what I have first is kind of how to do it, what happens inside your mouth, what happens outside of your mouth, and things like that. And so what I'm first going to do is read through everything with you, looking at the words. Then after, I will stop screen sharing and I will try and show you with my mouth. And so we can all do this together. So we'll have two types of practice. One where you don't see me, and then the second time you will see me. So any questions so far about this? It should be interesting.
No, I think it's effective to improve my pronunciation.
Good. Well, Ken, I was thinking for you, is there anything that you'd like to focus on for pronunciation? Because you asked about pronunciation in the past.
Right. Sometimes when I talk with my American friend, my R is weak.
Okay. Let me write this down for Ntanga.
So misunderstanding based on that pronunciation, because Japanese R just like L, like weak sound, lu. So same sound, if it is written in Japanese, it's same sound, lu, la, li, lu, lo. But ra, re, ru, re, lo, la, li, lo, very different.
What are you doing? What is that?
But still, I need to practice this R sound. I noticed that the other day when I was talking with him.
Okay. Well, that's fine. Well, like I said, I think Thomas had told me, I don't even know where it is in this notebook anymore, but there were 3 or 4 different things that he wanted me to work on for pronunciation, and the ST sound was one of it. And we'll see how it goes today. It was really difficult actually preparing this class, a lot more difficult than I expected, because I was sitting here yesterday watching, YouTube videos on how to help me explain how to pronounce these sounds. And I was like, and I was, hopefully my camera isn't stopped there because it stopped here. Hello? Can you hear me? Is that a yes?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. Bob, you're really low at this point.
Oh, low today?
Yeah, your volume went really down. Went down very fast. Did I stop? Because my camera was frozen and I looked terrible. So.
For me, you are moving and listening to you clearly. I'm not sure the problem, but.
All right. It's probably my computer. I tried to fix it and I'm not good at that stuff. So I will just continue then. So yes, Thomas told me to do this pronunciation. It was super difficult for me. I was sitting here yesterday like or and I was my husband was looking at me quite strange, and I was like, no, it's okay, I'm just trying to work on pronunciation. I should have become a speech therapist, because there's different parts inside your mouth, and that you need to understand where your tongue should go or not, or touch or not touch. And it's different from breathing rather than kind of pronouncing the words. So I was testing out different theories, and it was, like I said, a little more challenging than I expected. So let's take a look at what I have. And then from there, we can work on, here it is. We can work on anything that's not clear, okay? So this is, again, today's class is how to pronounce the ST sound in English. So first, let's have Bob read this little paragraph here. Bob, can you read that for us?
Yes, of course. There are many diphthongs in English which can be difficult for some. Today we are going to focus on the est sound.
Yeah, the ST sound.
ST sound. ST sound.
Yeah, you're very, very low. Ken, is he low for you as well, or is it just me?
His voice became low for me as well.
Okay, all right, that's fine. So good. Well, at least this is written here. So yes, there are many diphthongs. That's what the ST sound is. That's what diphthongs are basically two letters which create sounds together. And so, different combinations of letters together make different sounds, which are diphthongs basically. So it's just a big word for a combination of sounds. Okay. Can you read this second paragraph for us?
Okay. We will read through the steps and then practice. Don't worry if you can't get it the first time. It is very difficult when the sound isn't in your native language.
Good. So I think this kind of explains everything. We'll just go step by step and see how it goes. I think it might be easy for some and difficult for others. That's why I said I want to read through this together first. And then after, I will kind of read through this and do the actions showing you. So, Bobbin, let's have you read this paragraph, okay?
Okay. First, we should start by practicing each sound individually. The ST sound in English is really just a combination of the S and the T sounds together.
Okay, good. Your pronunciation is very good. Like I said, you're a little low, but that's okay. So, all right, I think I'm going to read this one, Ken, because it's quite confusing. This is the actual explanation. So let me just take over here for a second. So how to pronounce the S sound. So as Bob read, it's just two sounds together. Now, that might sound simple, but we also have to understand how to pronounce each sound correctly and then also combine the two. Okay, so all right. So everyone should be trying this. Okay, first your face and mouth should be relaxed and your teeth closed. Your teeth closed basically means that they're touching. Okay, so they're not opening. Did you understand that? Your teeth are not opened. Okay. Okay, so once you're relaxed, your face and your mouth, then you should place your tongue in the middle of your mouth. Oops, in the middle of your mouth. Okay. I'm also trying this. Not touching your teeth or anything. It's just kind of floating in your mouth. Okay. Then I've tried, this is what I came up with. I'm sorry if it's not perfect. Open your mouth a little, which means your teeth actually, and blow the air out. Now, this is where I came up with the problem of blowing versus actually trying to pronounce the word or the letter. Because if you do this, that's just blowing. That's pushing air out of my lungs. But if I do the sound, this is so difficult. I don't even know what's going on in my mouth. So it says if you breathe normally, it won't produce a sound. That's what I mean about blowing. So you're really forcing the air out of your mouth in order to pronounce this sound. And you your tongue shouldn't go past or through your teeth. It should stay behind them the whole time. Okay, so that's kind of a trick, is your tongue stays in that same position. Now, I'd like to ask Bob or Ken if we have any questions.
We will see.
You want to see it?
No, I see.
Okay. Ken, any questions or comments about this? It's so difficult. Like I'm trying to really focus on what I'm doing with my mouth, but you have to produce a sound, and that's the most difficult part is you can't just blow. You have to but the air comes from all over your mouth. It doesn't come from one specific area.
And my tongue should not be touched anywhere.
See, and that's the thing is because sometimes it does.
Okay, sound, but sometimes it touches. Okay.
Exactly. It does touch because there were things that I read. I mean, I researched this a lot yesterday. Some things that don't touch and but I mean honestly, I think it depends on the person because we all kind of learn how to pronounce something and maybe it works differently for different people.
Mhm.
Basically, yes, your tongue is in the middle of your mouth, but also what I think my tongue is lightly, barely touching the top of my mouth. But it doesn't. I think that's just because it's comfortable. Because if it's in the center, I think it takes more effort to just maintain or keep your tongue in the middle.
Mhm.
I need a bigger mouth for that. So, okay, so Ken, you've got the sounds down. Bob, what about you? The S sound. Can you pronounce the S sound?
S sound.
There you go. Bob, the snake is here today. Just kidding. Good. So basically that's it. Okay, so what I think I might do now is I'm going to stop screen sharing and I'm going to be looking at this and trying to help you. So, okay, now you can see me. I'm not good at this pronunciation stuff. I don't have the correct words. And also, I think if I even had the correct words, you wouldn't understand them. So that's kind of a whole new world. But basically, it's your face and mouth are relaxed, not using your muscles in your face, basically. Teeth are closed. Okay, teeth are closed. Place your tongue in the middle of your mouth. You can't see this, but might be touching the top, here at the top of my mouth inside. Open your mouth a little. And so there's a tiny bit of gap in between my teeth. Even though you might not be able to see it, I can get my nail. No, they're almost basically closed. I probably look very silly at the moment, but that's okay. Anything to help people learn English and pronunciation. So basically, that's what we're doing. You kind of smile when you pronounce the word as well. And you notice my tongue doesn't come out any further, just stays back in there. Okay. I think. Please, anyone questions or comments? I feel a little silly today.
I think in terms of this sound, Japanese has this sound, so I think I can make it.
Do you make it? Do you pronounce? Do you use the same
Yes.
process?
This. Yeah, my tongue doesn't touch.
Oh, it doesn't.
This sound.
Okay. Perfect. All right, so great. Let's move on. So let me screen share again. This is fun. And share. Like I said, I think it'd actually be really interesting to be a speech therapist and be able to, help people with this. Because they were saying too that kids with, I don't want to say disabilities, but kids who pronounce the S wrong, pronounce it wrong two different ways. And it's one way was from the front of their mouth where their tongue was sticking out. And they, would say, show me the thop, show me the shop, or those are SHs. But either way, that when your tongue sticks out of your mouth, it doesn't make the correct sound. There was also another way that it was, I don't remember, but the air I think came out from the sides, and it was quite strange. And I don't know if I'm I don't think I can make the sounds because I obviously know how to pronounce the S correctly. And so it was really interesting to see the kind of different ways that people can have, it's called the lisp in English. And so a lisp, I think, is basically when you can't pronounce your S's correctly. So yeah, great. Okay, well, next. So let's see, Ken. Oh no, I'm sorry. We have practice words. What am I doing? I'm jumping. So practice words. I'll say these. We'll have Bob say these, and then Ken, and then we'll move on. Okay. So practice words here is, again, to kind of introduce the sound. We'll do some, say, set, sell. And it's good to practice the S. If you have a difficult time just getting the S, add a vowel. Sometimes that will help you. And then we have, so the beginning of the words, we have the S. And then here at the ends, we have windows, calls, tables, cares. All right, so Bob, why don't you go first? And you can read all of these practice words.
Okay. Some, say, set, sell. Windows, calls, tables, cares.
Okay, good. That was perfect. And Ken, what about you?
Some say, set, sell. Windows, calls, tables, cares.
Good. It kind of sounds like a poem. It's not a haiku just because it is not the correct syllables or words, but it sounds like it could be. Oh, yes. Well, this is me again. All right. As you can tell, this one is, once we get into this, yes, we will realize that I had a difficult time with this one too. So, how to pronounce the T. I promise, Ken, you'll be able to read again. So, in order to pronounce the T, this is this is the best thing I could come up with. To say the T, first you need to make an ugly or fake smile. Okay. Or in other words, have your teeth closed, but they're showing. So maybe quickly I will just show everyone that so you can get the idea. Yeah, so an ugly smile is not something anyone wants to see, but a kind of a fake smile, and you're like, okay. So it's your teeth are closed, but at the same time they're showing. And that's it. There's really nothing. So it's, like I said, an ugly smile or a fake smile is what's going on. I hope that's understandable now. So once we do that, then we have to place our tongue at the top of our mouths. Okay? So this is where the gums, that's the pink part of your teeth, okay, and your teeth meet. So it's right in that kind of middle part. Okay? Right where your teeth and your gums meet. We'll say that. Next, push out the air in order to make the T sound. And as you do this, your tongue should start by touching your mouth or that part, the gums and the teeth, to not touching it. And so basically what your tongue is doing is pushing off, pushing from your gums and teeth to the middle of your mouth. I hope you can more or less understand this. And so hopefully after we can understand what I've said, you can say t, t. It's a very strong, powerful t, t sound. Okay? Questions? Comments? Do you think there's anything terribly wrong with this? Is there something else I should add? What do you think? Ken or Bob?
No question.
Okay, Bob, you're loud again, so that's great. So now we can hear you really well. Bob, can you make the T sound for us?
T sound.
Yeah.
Time.
Perfect.
Teeth.
Yeah. Good. And Ken, what about you?
Good.
Perfect. So, hopefully as you're reading this ridiculous text I have, which is completely informal and probably embarrassing for all of those speech therapists, I hope that you can understand more or less what I'm trying to do here. Okay. So again, what I'm going to do is stop screen sharing for a moment. I'm going to show you what I'm doing with my mouth and my face. So again, okay. Fake ugly smile. My tongue is inside, touching, between the pink and the white part in your mouth. And then what we're going to do is take your tongue and then kind of push a little bit into your mouth, into your gums and your teeth, and then kind of jump back with it. Ken, is that you practicing? You're not mute. So we can like basically make music now if you want. Okay. Good. Oh boy. Okay, so pronunciation classes are my, I don't want to say strong point, but hopefully everyone understands this. If you don't, look at other videos on YouTube because this is the best I can do. So now moving on. Ken, why don't you read this for us? It's your turn, okay?
Okay. Next, start combine the two sounds. First, start with the S sound, and directly after you should say the T sound. Your tongue should move from center of your mouth to the top part in between sounds.
Okay, so basically, as I said with the S, and we've kind of decided that your tongue should move from the center. The center, let's say, upper part of your mouth, because really my tongue is relaxed against the upper part of my mouth, and so the center upper part is where the S sound is going to finish, and then we have to jump. Well, we have to move our tongue from that position into the position where it's actually touching the part between our gums and our teeth, where they meet. Okay. And again, just kind of put the two sounds together. So we have the S and T sounds. And now I'm going to say st, st. All right. Ken, can you try this?
St, st.
Good.
Passed.
Oh, I was
That's
like,
the
you
one.
did pass the exam. Good job. I thought you're like, I passed. Good job, Ken, myself, Yes, you passed. Yes, you did very good. Thank you for that. And Bob.
Or last.
Last. You're
Last.
stealing all of my example words. We'll have to think of some more, but last. Exactly. There's a lot of what?
At last. Beautiful song. Beautiful song.
Can you sing it for us?
At last, my last tango.
Oh, good job, Bob.
this song.
Very good. You're a better singer than I am.
Oh, yes, of course.
Better bass player too, probably, for sure. So good. So now, like I said, it's just combining these two sounds that we've been working so hard on. So now, as it says here, try adding a vowel. If you're still having a hard time with just these two sounds, then try adding a vowel. Sometimes it's easier that way because you're not focused only on these two sounds, but kind of a general sound. And so basically what I'm going to do is read these. And as you can see, I've done A, E, I, O, U in order. So sta, ste, sti, sto, sta. How does that sound? That sounds a little silly, doesn't it? Because they're not really words. Bob, would you like to try first, or should Ken go first?
Okay. Sta, ste, sti, sto, sta.
Very good. Ken?
Okay. Sta, sti, ste, sti, sto, sta.
Good. Now, this is, helping us get into the pronunciation of an actual word. So, moving on. Get the words started. So we're going to start with practicing words that start with the ST sound, like the word start. Again, I have A, E, I, O, U. This is in order. So we can also practice these beginning sounds as well. So I'm going to read the words, and Ken, you'll go first this time, and then Bob. All right, so I'll say this first. Stand, step, stick, stop, stump. Ken?
Okay. Stand, step, stick, stop, stamp.
Very good. And Bob.
Stand, step, stick, stop, stamp.
Thank you. Very good. This is fun. Everyone's doing great today. And now let's practice the words that have the ST, but now in the middle of the word. And this is not in order anymore because that would have made life a lot more difficult. So we have the words sister, twister, plaster, master. Bob?
Sister, twister, plaster, and master.
Very good. And Ken?
Sister, twister, plaster, and master.
Very good. So, and this is great because the T in these sounds, in these words, sorry, the T in these words is very strong. You know, sometimes the T's like 20, 20, 20, 20. In American English, we don't pronounce this T, and so it's not very strong. Okay. I'm trying to think.
Is there a rule for that? When American make T sound strongly?
I don't know. That's a good word. A good question. Why I'm reading this? Why do Americans, or I should say, when and why do Americans not pronounce the T or D? Right?
Right. Yeah. And T sound sometimes sounds like D sound little, or some that thing happens.
Oh.
So change to little.
Yeah, I know. Little. That would be an interesting class. I'll have to put that in the calendar relatively soon. Because I don't know if you heard the other day, I've actually got classes past next January, already ready. I found some good inspiration things and we're ready to go. So this actually is really interesting to me, and I don't want to say I'm not embarrassed. I just don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. Pronouncing the double T like a D. Actually, I have let me write this down.
Kind of the Paul McCartney sing both accents in one song with a little lag. First he pronounced with a little lag, but when he sang the blues in the end with a little lag. So
I think it could be just because of the intonation of the song, and if he actually needed that extra kind of sound in there.
Bluesy feeling, American accent express more than British accent, I guess.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I don't know. Okay, let's finish this because I do have a discussion after this now. Okay. Let's not look at that. Okay, so now let's take a look at the words that end with the ST, like best, list, past, blast, cast. Ken?
Okay. Best, list, past, blast, cast.
Okay, good. Bob?
Best, list, past, blast, cast.
Fantastic. And I was going to think of more words and I ran out of time. So, and I also have, we can even look at words that end with the double S-E-D, because the sound is the same as the ST sound. Why? Because whenever in the EDs, let me back up. With the ED endings for verbs or adjectives, when the word ends with a double S, the ED then sounds like a T sound. And so now it's the same sound. And so we have kissed, missed, passed. And I have a little asterisk here because these two words are pronounced exactly the same, even though they're completely different words. Ta-da! So, Bob, can you repeat these words? Kissed, missed, passed.
Kissed, missed, passed.
Oh, your missed didn't have a very strong T at the end. Can you repeat that, please?
Kissed, missed, passed.
Very good. There it was. And again, it's kind of like if you say it really quickly, you don't pronounce all of the word or the endings. And this is kind of what I think Ken is saying when Americans speak, or maybe even anyone else in English speaks, is you don't pronounce the ending. What happens is that we understand that the ending is there. And so there's a little difference between native English speakers and non-native English speakers, because if you're a non-native English speaker, you have to pronounce the ed ending, the T sound here. But because I'm a native, I have like this natural, like, free for all, like, oh, you get this, it's okay. I have like the right to pronounce things incorrectly, to speak incorrectly, but I can because I'm native. And that's the same with Spanish speakers. I can't pronounce things incorrectly. I can't, say the wrong word because I'm not native. And you notice it. But if it's a native, you don't. It's crazy. All right. Well, anyway, let's see. Ken, you need to pronounce these.
Okay. Kissed, missed, passed.
Kiss, miss, pass. Very good. Okay, so let me go down. All right, so lastly, if you're practicing alone, you might want to use a mirror. Most common errors when pronouncing the ST sound is your tongue placement. Okay, so that again is just kind of helping you recognize, or maybe look at your mouth shape, etc., and how it feels at the same time. And so that way you can kind of correct yourself a little, or watch videos on YouTube, talk to native speakers, and help, they can help you as well. Here we have some extra S words because these are difficult. And so I'm going to read these, and I'll have both of you read these as well. So we have the word challenges, damages, guests, ghosts, gents. So these are difficult pronunciation words, and I know that. That's why they're here. So who wants to go first?
I.
Okay, go ahead.
Challenges, damages, guests, ghosts, and gents.
Very good. And Ken?
Okay. Challenges, damages, guests, ghosts, gents.
Oh, I didn't hear ghosts.
Ghosts.
Thank
Ghost.
you.
Okay.
Perfect. Oh, let's see here. Hello, you're back again. You want to... Hey, it's pretty loud in the background. I'm just going to mute you because okay, now I think it's easier to understand. So very good. So these are the really difficult pronunciation words. Thanks for joining us again. So any questions as far as the S, the T pronunciation words, or anything like that?
How about GU connection? Guest or guest?
Well, in this case, guest, this U we're not pronouncing.
Okay, guests.
Yes, so we go directly to the E sound, ge.
Okay.
Guess. Just like, the word guess. Guess what number I'm thinking of. It's G. We don't pronounce this. And actually, this rule, if my mom is correct, and I think I've said this before, that in the German language, English is somewhat of a Germanic language. We have a mix of everything, I think. And so in this case, the U we don't pronounce because, as you can see, there are two vowels together, the U and the E. Okay? And with that, what happens is that in the German language, in German, as far as I understand, they pronounce the second vowel. Whereas in English, for example, with the word, let's say, read, and even read, these two words are pronounced exactly the same because the E is the first vowel and the second vowel really does nothing. And so this kind of just sits there and looks pretty, but it doesn't do anything. And so with that not doing anything, it really gives this vowel its strength, okay? And that's why we literally pronounce the E sound, just like the letter. A, B, C, D, E, read, okay? So what happens is, as far as my mom, the same thing happens in the German language, but opposite. The first letter is quiet. Where is this? Here it is. Ge. Well, and then in this case, it's not a strong E. Guess. We're not saying E, we're saying like egg. So there's a difference here in the pronunciation. So it's not exactly always true what I'm saying about the vowel sounds. But that's what happens in English too, as we have a lot of exceptions. So that's the same with guests, is that we're just ignoring the U. Okay?
Okay.
Does that help you, or does that make life more complicated?
I'm always wondering, you should be pronounced or not. Yes.
In this word, no. Obviously, in other words, yes.
I see. Okay, got it.
All right, good. And we see this also, for example, with the word juice. But then what happens with the verb build? So in this case, this is quite confusing because as you can see, we have a U and an I in both words, but both words are spelled very differently. So in this case, we'll say this is kind of like juice. That's kind of what it looks like to me. And build, we just completely ignore the U. And in this first one, we completely ignore the I. So when do you know? I mean, in English, you cannot look at a word and understand how it's pronounced. You cannot. And so a lot of people get upset with me and I'm like, well, it's not my fault. I didn't invent English. So, it depends probably where the word is from. Like I said, we have a lot of German inspired words. We use French words, especially in British English. For example, I say zucchini. They say crochet, I believe. The crochet is the French word. Zucchini is the Italian word. Figure that one out. So we just, deja vu. I've heard the word beautiful comes from French as well because it has so many vowels together. And normally in English, we don't have so many vowels together. So, the English language is compiled or mixed of different languages together. And so again, it's virtually impossible to understand how to pronounce a word just by looking at it. So apart from phrasal verbs, verb patterns, prepositions, pronunciation is also terrible. I should say terribly difficult, not terrible, but it's definitely a challenge. So after this, any questions? Are you both in shock? No comments?
No.
No.
Maybe kind of native speaker notice that, but non-native speaker not often don't notice that. But maybe I can acceptable point to get for native speaker to get this kind of difference, probably, or by context or something.
You listen to it as a child. We learn to speak because we're kids. When we hear our parents say this until we can actually speak. And then when we actually learn to read, we're 5 or 6 years old. So for the first 5 years of your life, I mean, that's a long time listening to stuff. Let me stop screen sharing. I don't have anything else. And so basically, I mean, we listen to our parents when we're younger. And so we pick up their accent. And I know someone who has a speech problem, and her child, at least one of her kids, has the same speech problem because she listens to her mom speaking all day. And so in that case, in that kind of situation, the child should go to a speech therapist and learn how to pronounce the words correctly, because it's their entire life. It's okay if they don't too, no problem. But, if you want to improve that, you should go to a speech therapist. And as far as the pronunciation and reading, I mean, that we first learn how to pronounce the words, and then because everyone older than us has either seen the word or they know how to pronounce the word, when we're in school, our teacher knows. And so we ask our teacher. And that's how we understand how to pronounce the word. It's not because we look in the dictionary or we know the phonetic language. Absolutely not. I know some of the phonetic letters or phonetic symbols that they have, but I don't know all of them. So one thing you could do is go online. I know in Word Reference, you can listen to different accents even on how to pronounce the word. So
also, nowadays, an online dictionary has a mic button to check the exact pronunciation from native speak. It's very useful, actually.
Mm-hmm. And also, if you want to self-practice, what you can do is there's some in which you can speak and it will record or it will type what you say. And so that way you can kind of work on your pronunciation too, or just focus on one word and see if it is writing the correct word or not. So, good. Well, I had a question. I think I'm going to wait just because I think we might need more time. So this would be a different class, a conversation class. So for now, what I'm going to do is just check my schedule for this week and confirm everything. Oh, yes. So for Wednesday, we'll be talking more about team building. I don't think it was too long ago that we talked about, team building activities, but we're going to do some more, or maybe a little background information about what we can do. Next Monday is going to be a pretty advanced grammar class. It's called emphatic sentences. Parts of speech in English, when it's super advanced, I'm not super familiar with, but it's more about adding detail to your sentences, when you speak English. And so hopefully that will help. And then next Wednesday, just to add that, is tongue twisters. So more pronunciation that doesn't make sense. And of course, we'll be looking at Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, for sure. And Bob, we'd like to wish you the best of luck on your trip and your journey, and a safe trip, and hope that everything works well. Do you have any final words for Intenga members?
Oh, thank you so much, my friends from Intenga. I don't know where and when see you again on the class, but if I have time and also opportunity to connection in Tega, I am glad to see you always, because I need English every day, everywhere, and English is really very, very important in the world, especially Brazil, in the Pacific, in the Atlantic. This is only one language, because sea language is English. This is world language, and from the sailors, only English.
Absolutely. I agree with you there. Well, hopefully we'll see you at some point, and you'll have to cross the ocean and hopefully have some good Wi-Fi connection, and you can join our class. That would be fantastic. You'll do great. You've definitely improved over I don't know how long ago I met you, but a couple of years probably. You've definitely improved since then.
Yes.
Huge difference. So You'll do
Yes.
great, and you'll continue to learn and learn new words, expressions, be more comfortable, and gain confidence. So, I wish you the best. I hope everything goes well, and then soon
Yes,
enough you'll be
Becky.
back.
Yes, I have excellent application for the Learn English. This is application name Read Aloud.
Oh.
This is program who read documents, PDF and other, and you take the text in the
Mhm.
program, and program read aloud what you want, and
Okay.
you following the
Mhm.
words and the text, and program reading for you
Mhm.
in the mobile phone, in the tablet. And I really think this is excellent way
Mhm.
for the learning English. This
Yeah.
is learning English in the listening. Learn
Mhm.
English for the listening. It's
Absolutely.
important for the pronunciation, for the conversation,
For
and also
everything.
everything. And also, best way for the learn English is with the live peoples,
Mhm. Mhm.
especially in the English people.
Mhm.
This
Mhm.
is native English, and I want to say, my fellow passengers on the ship, this is approximately older people,
Mhm.
60 years, maybe 70s, but passengers is very politely and very kind people, and passengers help us, the crew member who is second language is English, for
Mhm.
the conversation and learning English during the contract.
Mhm. Perfect. Well, again, I hope you have a great time. I hope everything goes well, and soon enough you will be back, and you'll be back in the classes, and we can see how much you've improved over time. So,
Yes.
with that, we'll see you soon. All right,
All
and
right.
Ken, hopefully we'll see you on Wednesday. Okay. So,
Okay.
have a great day, everybody. Bob, if you need anything, let me know.
Goodbye.
Okay.
Goodbye, Becky. Goodbye, Ken. Bye bye, Ken.
Goodbye.
All right.
Bye, Bob.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye bye.